Hello everyone, Wonder Tina here. Day 1, the prompt is Dream. So I will start with my signature messy drawing. I have very little time for such things, so I can't focus on details. I draw professionally every day, after all, that's what I do for a living. And what I do now is supposedly for pleasure. You have to be quite crazy to draw again after a job where you draw. I choose G-nib without much thinking. I was in a bit of hurry because I was too confident, but it doesn't matter. I forgot that the G pen nib is very difficult to use and you have to be very careful. Still, it's worth learning how to use it because it gives truly amazing drawing effects. My G-nib is very worn out, but apparently it's better than using a brand new one. I ordered this set from a Japanese manufacturer and it paid off very well. I didn't have any problem with this word because a lot of things come to my mind related to this word. I had a smartwatch for some time now. I didn't want it at all, but I got it for free, so I have it. I'm not telling this without a reason, because I was interested in a certain function related to this watch. Well, this watch monitors sleep, and I don't sleep very well, so I wanted to check what my sleep results are. It seems like I am sleeping very unusually. I hardly ever sleep deeply, but I sleep the longest in light sleep, and what's strangest is that the REM phase always lasts from an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's like a standard movie length. Imagine watching a 2-hour movie every night in your head. It shouldn't be like that, but in my case, it's normal. The REM phase is responsible for dreaming, and I dream a lot and I remember my dreams, even the most crazy one, for years. I remember my childhood dreams to this day. I mentioned it once that I watched Mummies as a child, and I really liked the episode where there was a pink cloud on which you could fly. My autistic brain liked it very much and produced an episode during my dream in which I was flying on such a pink cloud around my house. But when the evening came, the cloud disappeared. It disappeared when the darkness fell. There were only remains left that looked like pink cotton candy. I started collecting it in the moonlight, thinking that maybe the next day I could fly on this cloud again. I think it's a good start with Inktober. This drawing took me about an hour, and that's how long I expect for each subsequent drawing. Day 2. The prompt is spiders. I don't know what happened to me today. I made such mess with ink like never before. It is obvious that you always have to be very careful with ink even if you are already experienced. I guess it just wasn't my day. I made at least 5 blots, but I had in the back of my mind that I had bought a very good white ink with good coverage ability. So I wasn't as concerned if I messed up something. I was drawing with the camera on the side for a while, but it's too distracting, so I tried to position it above my tilt table. I thought it wasn't a good idea, but it looks like the image on the video doesn't look that bad at all, and it is above all a very practical place. What did I even come up with here? The prompt is spiders, plural. Something's wrong here, isn't it? There will be one spider for sure. This one here is from the Scacum species. I don't know the English name for this spider. I think they are very cute and I like when they move that funny way. I would be willing to have such spider. Oh, and that other thing is a sea spider. No, it's just an ordinary crab. It may be a bit strange, but I look at it quite abstractly. Sea animals are sort of the same as land animals. Shrimps and various creatures resemble insects and spiders such as fly fish, scorpions, grasshoppers. Fish are like birds because they also fly in transparent space just like in air. You could say that this drawing is an abstraction. A crab is an aquatic spider with pincers like scorpion. I alluded to these similarities because a friend of mine recently said that she is very afraid of insects of all kinds. Despite this, she really likes seafood that can look like insects, for example shrimps. I told her that shrimps are just like insects, only they live in water. She thought about it for a moment and said there was something to it, but it probably didn't change her attitude towards insects. To save time, I paint over large black surfaces with the brush and then only correct them with a pen to add better detail. Normally, in this situation, I would use a different ink, much cheaper one, not waterproof, but this year I have a different goal for these drawings. I probably won't paint all my drawings with watercolor paints, but probably only the ones I like. I will correct the places I messed up later with the white ink. I was actually very lucky because the ink drops didn't fall anywhere where it would look very bad. The prompt is path. I will be using a lot of G-pen in this illustration. The lines are really impressive after that. Later I will change the pen that is best for detailing. I will make the work more efficient by painting some places black with brush, but right at the beginning I made a blot. Wonder Tina, what's wrong with you? So, another very easy prompt. I immediately associated it with choosing a life path. You can choose your life path as a career, you can choose the ninja path, but I choose the path of Jesus Christ in my life. It is said that the path to life is very narrow and not many follow it. Jesus also said that we are to be holy as he is holy. Incredible high bar, isn't it? From a human point of view, it seems impossible to achieve. But let me tell you, it is possible. Jesus said that his burden that he placed on us is light, and you can walk freely on this path thanks to the Holy Spirit that you receive when you decide to follow Jesus. If you feel a burden on your heart, you can come to Christ and confess your spiritual bankruptcy. Every time I have a chance, I share this good news so that others also have the courage to live and be joyful. I follow everything in the Bible in my life, and I don't think anything is too difficult to accomplish. If you receive His Holy Spirit, everything becomes easy, although it doesn't mean that you will have to face very difficult and painful matters. Like, for example, I had to make a very difficult decision last year. I lived with my boyfriend, unmarried. I was very unhappy about this. I was in favor of this relationship being finally seen as a marriage, but he wanted to live the way he liked. I thought about it for a long time, but I finally decided and kicked him out of the apartment. He seemed to enjoy my suffering and that he now had control over the matter, so I had to stop it. After that, however, my mental condition began to improve, and today I am happy that I did it and I do not regret it at all. A disciple of Christ will never be happy if you live sloppy way. So then I decided to do it right, and it paid off very well. Now I enjoy living in harmony with God. I had to act like a real man. You see, I am not perfect, and I still have many things that I want to improve in myself. But along this path, sometimes I slip. But a saint fell many times, but his Lord is able to lift him up so that he can go forward. I am not saying this to complain. This is my testimony. That's what we call it in Christian communities. It serves to comfort, encourage, and instruct someone. I look at this experience as my victory. I wish you the same. Make a good choice, live like Christ. Other false prophets like Muhammad, Buddha or some other did not tell you what exactly to do if it comes to showing the way. These false gods and prophets are clueless if it comes to what do you have to do to have the eternal life. Only Jesus said about himself that he is the way, the truth and the life, and he really is. Other demon idols don't have the guts to say so, they just wander in dark. So, thanks for watching. This video might have made your eyes cartoonish big, but if you met me in real life, this topic would definitely come up and you would have to hear that because it's what I live with every day. I am not afraid of any pandemic, war or running out of money. God has my life in his hands. Day 4. The prompt is Dodge. This illustration will be the essence of my weirdness today. I read the word and see an image in my head of Neo from the Matrix dodging bullets at the speed of light. So let's start with the drawing. I had a bit a problem how to put it to show much more. I learned that a different perspective can give you more opportunities to present something in a clearer way. Although in this case of this drawing it may not change much. But when I see this word, other things come to my mind. Where this action occurs, when I look at the politicians and their crimes and lies, unfulfilled promises, and above all, leading the nation they rule into danger. I cannot understand the times we have come to, when if you have money and a good lawyer or lawyers, you can get out of all troubles without harm. Maybe such a guy's reputation will suffer, but we in Poland have already seen it when a politician with a very bad reputation returns to take part in elections. I think that nothing will come of it because Poles have not forgotten. And that's why I imagine a politician avoiding responsibility with some stupid tricks and paying lawyers with taxers' money. I gave him a clown nose and a wig. It's a real treat. Just please stop it. I can't believe that sometimes obvious frauds got unpunished. The law is also so adept and so complicated that there is always a way to escape. It has always been this way through history and nothing has changed. By the way, I have seen the first few episodes of One Piece. I watched it as a kid and have also the comics somewhere in garage. The casting for the characters is really good, even villains. Buggy looks really cool, so I liked to draw the politician's clown nose. I hope to see Buggy again. After being disassembled, he turned into a leather vehicle. That's wonderfully sick. I hope that the Netflix series of One Piece will not go in the woke direction. One character that doesn't sit well with me is Nami. This isn't the Nami from the comics. I don't like women in these Netflix movies. They make them all so boring and devoid of emotions. as if that would make them stronger and somehow better than others. This makes everything worse and hard to like. Okay, such a digression, maybe not necessary. Day 5, the prompt is map. What to do with this word? I don't feel like drawing just any maps, but I have a map that I would like to draw. No, it won't be the map from Nami of the entire world. I choose something easier, probably easier. I was thinking about the map from Pokemon Red and Blue, the Kanto region map. I know this map by heart and I will probably put symbols as small drawings of something associated with places where the cities are. I think it will look more interesting this way. Okay, so I will tell you a little story of how I have got my Game Boy consoles line in this video. I hope it sounds interesting to hear. It's a bit unusual story, I promise. I got my first Game Boy by accident. As a kid, I was on vacation by my aunt in Germany, and in the room where I was staying, I found in the box an old first Game Boy with some classic games like Pokemon Red and Tetris, and other very strange games that I didn't even understand how to play. My uncle said I can have it, and so I had my Nintendo Game Boy on which I played all day long. Even then, it was a very old thing for the middle 2000s, but it was a lot of fun. Then it turned out that my school friend had a Game Boy Color with the Pokemon Crystal game, and I really wanted to have it. So in my case, I had to find money for it from somewhere, and it wasn't like someone would just give it to me. I had to earn this money, but it didn't take long because an opportunity to make money appeared. When you are in primary school, you don't have many opportunities to earn money. But in my neighborhood there was someone who started to buy large amounts of apples. They could have been rotten or bruised apples, it didn't matter. They bought everything. These apples were to be used in production of a type of cheap alcohol, the so-called highball. It's the kind of alcohol which only addicts and homeless people drink. Very poor quality drink, but some people drink it because it gives a quick kick and is cheap. So it was the right time, the right condition, and I sold several bags of apples for over 100 or 150, I don't remember. And that was enough to become the owner of Game Boy Color. I really enjoyed this console and played it a lot, and that's the story mark. Later in time I have got a Game Boy Advance, but I had just saved up money for it and ordered it online. It was also a great purchase and I bought games for it. Today I don't have it anymore, but it doesn't matter. but I had a Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Switch. The thing with Nintendo Switch is that I bought it specifically to be able to play Fire Emblem games and Pokemon on it, but I have already this console for several years and I haven't decided to buy even one Pokemon game because they suck. I like Pokemon, but I won't pay for those bootleg games that Game Freak makes. I don't consider the jump from 2D to 3D for Pokemon to be a great success. I see only Pokemon Sun and Moon to be the only successful one, and this is the last Pokemon game I bought in 2016. Okay, I will finish. This drawing took me longer than I wanted, but well, I guess that drawing this particular map wouldn't be a breeze. Day 6. The prompt is golden. What does golden mean? I think it literally means something is made of gold. You could translate the Polish currency into golden, and it wouldn't actually sound bad. I thought about the golden eye of the guy from Yu-Gi-Oh! Named Pegasus, but I decided against it and I do rather draw Yugi than some guy who keeps talking in this funny way, Yugi boy, but only in the Japanese version. The Japanese version of this anime is much better, has much more serious atmosphere by the way. What we saw in our countries was just some butchered, censored mess. Oh, and you know what I have in common with Yu-Gi-Oh? My name is Fishgo! I wrote my name so that it could be read in English the same way it sounds in Polish. I think I did quite well. I never understood what happens when he turns into his cooler alter ego and screams Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not make any sense. I like very much the art style of this series. The character design is truly top shelf madness, but it's still done in very good taste. It is a very rare skill to combine kitsch with elegancy to create something stylish and unique. I have always liked something in between styles like this. So, unfortunately, I forgot to do something very important and this video will be much shorter because I didn't clear the card before recording. And when the card gets full, the camera turns off and I didn't record the finishing work on Yugi. Okay, that's it. Nothing to see here anymore. You can go. Day 7. The prompt is drip. Oh, very easy. I quickly related this word to what happens to me all the time while working on Inktober. Sometimes I'm too confident or not careful enough, and it's very easy to make a stain when drawing with a pen. I will draw myself in my frugal style. Cartoon characters are very economical in making. They do not have as many lines as characters in other styles. This will be a quick drawing. I like to do something with a strange perspective. It will add drama to the illustration. I will do something in fish eye perspective. It's quite an easy and effective trick. I picked to draw the G-pen. It has an oblong shape and, of course, a sharp tip. I have another one with a similar shape, but this nib, despite its identical shape, works completely different. With this nib you actually have to scratch the paper to make lines, so it is suitable for small details. I forgot my brush. I should always wash it after using it, otherwise it will harden. A hard brush has its advantages. It is easier to use when you need to be careful in some detailed sections on the illustration. However, it used a lot more ink with a brush in this condition and it takes a bit longer. Nevertheless, just put it in warm water and the dried ink will dissolve. Oh, you won't believe what happened. It's strange, but what happened now fits the topic very well. What a coincidence. I splitted the ink. Great, I don't even know how I did it. I think I poked the container with a ruler. It looked something like this, but unfortunately I don't really remember because it happened too fast. Too bad. I will have to clean it up and that's it. This ink washed off very easily. It shouldn't be a problem. Thanks for watching. Day 8. The prompt is toad. Toad means toad, so I won't do much with this word like last time I did with the word dodge, for example. I have drawn this illustration before, but I decided to do it again. The old illustration was digital with less detail. Overall, the drawing on the paper turned out much better, but you will see soon. I don't have much to say about this idea. It's just a frog with an umbrella on its head. Maybe this time I will just shut up for once. Yeah, this version of that frog is on another level. I would classify this previous digital illustration only as a concept and a very simplified one at that. Just look at this happy frog. Oh yeah, it's so good to be a toad. Day 9. The prompt is bounce. The word bounce can be used as an onomatopoeia. Where was the last time I saw this sound effect in my life? Maybe it didn't happen literally, but as some of you know, I have chinchillas. And one of them, White Madness, yes, that's her official name. Even that's what she has on her veterinarian records. She really is pure madness. She doesn't like people at all. She snaps at absolutely everyone, even me. But despite this, she is very friendly towards other chinchillas and cares for them. This will be a very quick drawing that I did it under 40 minutes because after all I am an expert in drawing chinchillas. But I digress. The story goes this way. So when I let the chinchillas out, they run around the apartment. At some point I see White Madness approaching my guitar and I know what she's going to do. She was eager to chew through a pair of nylon guitar strings, but I told her to put it out of her mind. It didn't work, so I say a second time and shoo her away, and then she bounced off the guitar with all her strength, so that the guitar spun around it several times. I jumped up and managed to catch this guitar so it wouldn't fall because this guitar is already quite damaged and it wouldn't be necessary. The guitar has been through a lot with me, but I don't have another one, so if I want to play regularly, I need it to be working. It almost looked like pure malice, but it's just an animal. But who knows, maybe it was intentionally. White Madness is slim and very agile. You won't catch her running loose. She then bounces around like some rubber ball, and if she were caught, it would be a stain on her honor. So she does everything she can to not even be touched. The second chinchilla is different. Violetta likes people and allows you to pet her quite willingly. If you pick her up, then she has to give it up running away because she has no choice. I drew White Madness with satisfaction written all over her face as if she was enjoying what she was doing and it was completely intentionally. I will make your life living hell, human. Hilarious drawing. I enjoy it very much. Day 10. The prompt is fortune. Fortune can mean wealth, good luck, but also fortune telling. But I found this verse. A fortune made by lying tongue is a floating vapor and a deadly snare. If someone doesn't understand, I will explain briefly. This means that if you gain your fortune by fraud, what you gain in a scammy way will lead you to death. I have seen so many movies about the mafia that I understand it perfectly. Yeah, having a lot of money isn't a bad thing. Many people think that being a Christian means being poor. Not true. If you have ever read the Bible, many of the characters God chose for some task were often rich or later becoming rich. Abraham, he became rich because the ruler was afraid of God gave the wealth to Abraham. Job, always rich and good and honest businessman. Then he became even richer. Solomon, thanks to the wisdom he received from God, became insanely rich. Later in New Testament, wealthy women sponsored Jesus and his apostles on their journey. Having a lot of money is great, but it's only great if you can manage them. In many cases, if an ordinary person unexpectedly becomes rich, he loses contact with reality and destroys himself because he doesn't know what to do with it at all. So, wealth can be a blessing or a misfortune, but surely it becomes a misfortune if you make money by cheating. I drew a picture of a poor sheep that a wolf who used the LMM method is trying to lure her into the structure of some company by promising a lot of money for doing nothing. I set my sight on MLM and I will tell you why. In short, it's a kind of marketing method that I didn't believe in from the very beginning. In MLM, you persuade people to become members of some company that is involved in pyramid scam. They always say it's not a pyramid scam, but it is. I took them by their word, but I still wasn't convinced and I did my job with little conviction because I didn't believe that someone genuine would try to sell something and make friends with the recruit. From the beginning, I thought something smells fishy here and I quickly put an end to it. This is a fraud and I, as disciple of Christ, should not do it. Because with a false promise to earn a lot of money, I can expose someone to the danger of losing money and even contact with the reality. It was not that long ago. I didn't knew about it, but recently I come across topic about MLM and financial cults. And that's how I found out what was going on there. These companies are often financial cults that make you depend on them, brainwash you, cut you off from your family and friends. So that was my association with this word. I know, very strange, but this verse from the Bible that I quoted fits this perfectly because it is simply an attempt to get rich by putting the people involved in danger, by making your own fortune. Day 11, the prompt is wonder. I didn't have any plan for this prompt, so what I am going to draw now will be last minute idea. But I think it's quite solid and interesting. The previous Inktober video had too long a thought and I didn't want to bring it up anymore, but I will tell you what happened with the previous version of the Inktober video number 10. For some reason, the video was overexposed after recording. You couldn't see anything from the drawing at all. Maybe only a little bit of the drawing stage with the ink, but overall the video was useless. It wouldn't be possible to recover this video because the image loses a lot of information due to overexposure, and any repair in the program will not be enough. After all, my videos are about art and which should look at least aesthetic, and this recording did not meet these requirements. I think that no matter how hard I try these days, my videos don't achieve the same quality as other art channels because my camera is very old, but it doesn't bother me. Maybe one day I will decide to buy a new camera, who knows? So, what do you think I did to deal with the corrupted video problem? A. I decided that there will be no video for Inktober number 10. Obvious not. B. I will go with another idea. C. I drew the same thing. The answer is C. I thought it would be bad if I just said there will be no video number 10 because the video is too shitty. So I decided to draw the same thing again. But the next illustration was much better because I looked at the wolf's reference, and the new version of the wolf is on another level because in the previous drawing I drew the wolf from memory, so it wasn't very good. This means that reference change a lot. It's always worth looking for inspiration. In this drawing I used a photo from the Inktober. I already had similar idea in Wonder theme and I didn't want to draw the same things. So I thought, let's do something fantastic this time. It is poetically said that clouds wander, so let them literally wander. Oh, do you know where are you going? You do? Day 12. The prompt is spicy. I wouldn't want to draw something trivial this time, like someone who is in agony looking for something to calm down the spiciness of the dish, because it wouldn't be too simple, and you know I don't like do things that way, so I come up with the kebab overlord with a fiery sword of hot pepper. His collar is made of ornamental lettuce, an indicator of his social class. Oh yes, this guy is no joke. His tomato blade can be seen from far, and anyone who sees him in the village shouts, "The kebab overlord is coming! He is coming! Hide! Hide!" But the most feared thing is his fiery hot pepper. So hot that just looking at it makes your eyes itch. Another village left burning behind. The survivors only see from a distance as the kebab overlord drives away and his lettuce fork is fluttering behind him. What a horrible night to be alive. At the last moment I thought whatever choosing a horse for such character would not to be too trivial. Maybe if he was sitting on a dragon, this drawing would be better, but on the other hand, this character would be less associated with a knight. And I wanted to first refer to the character of the headless horseman, but instead of a pumpkin, he has an onion on his head. I think I did the right thing, because it would have been stupid for me to refer too much to a typical Halloween character. I don't practice such stupid holidays. Oh, but Wonder Tina, this is just for fun. No, this is not just for fun. Every holiday has meaning, every holiday has a purpose, and there are always consequences. Most holidays that people celebrate are about enjoying and remembering something important. So what is celebrated on Halloween? Death, evil spirits, and many people try dangerous spiritualistic practice. What do you think is going to happen when you celebrate such things? You are inviting it to your life. How many people today suffer from depression or are suicidal? The spiritual world does not sleep and looks for opportunities to destroy man by all means. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This verse is obvious to people who consciously believe in Christ, and it explains what is happening on the other side. Most people don't know this, that's why I end a non-serious drawing in such serious way. Be aware of what you are doing because every action has consequences. Day 13. The prompt is rise. This video will probably appear very early in the morning, European time. Hey early birds, are you already watching the new Inktober? I came up with something for this prompt that might fit. Rise can mean several things like a hen raising her chicks. This idea won't be far from that. I thought that I often see on internet how people raise young birds thrown out of the nest and unable to survive. This will be a drawing of a human raising an abandoned bird chick. Sometimes they fall out of the nest on their own, but either way, in many cases it is certain death for such bird. Why do parents sometimes throw their young out of the nest? Apparently, the cause is mostly survival related. Sometimes a chick looks sick and the parent somehow recognizes it. Or the nest is too full and, for example, this year is little in food. It's cruel, but that's nature, focused on survival. Birds cannot ask other birds for help like humans. Here you can see how a human is very different from an animal. However, there are species of animals that care for each other, like elephants. For example, when an individual from their herd dies, they go to say goodbye to him and are even sad for some time and visit the elephant's grave. However, there is one bird that I don't like and probably many people also hate. The cuckoo is a real brute from the moment it hatches. The cuckoo never raises its young, but always gives the egg to other birds that work hard to feed this little monster. However, there are birds that do not fall for this because they recognize their young by the inside of their beak and do not feed this imposter. Even though animals are very different from humans when it comes to doing bad things, they can also be very creative. But the cuckoo seems to me the most calculating among animals. Even though it is only about survival, it is done in the most, let's say, not very elegant way. Somehow the topic developed like this. I like birds and generally everything that lives. After all, I grew up in the countryside, so observing animals very closely was possible every day. That's it. This bird will soon fly away and be independent. One life saved that seemed to have no chance. Day 14. The prompt is castle. This is a very cool topic because I like castles and old buildings. I am not afraid to draw architecture, but it will be a bit tricky to do it with a pen. But that's okay, you have to pull yourself together and just do it. I turned on something to listen to while walking. The play, The Ambassador. It is great. Unfortunately, it's in Polish, but if I remember, I will add a link in the description. Let's learn better manners by watching good plays. I choose a castle in Bavaria called Neuschwanstein for inspiration. This castle is a total wonder. I think the architect's goal was to build something that would look like from a fairy tale. And it worked. Well done! I saw this photo all my childhood on an old coffee container with a photo of this castle, which is why I thought about this castle first instead of the Wawel castle. I choose not to simply draw a castle on some rock in a magical land, but to have the castle be in a snow globe. Snow globes are very charming souvenirs. It's kind of like little world with its own ecosystem. This castle in a snow globe feels like it is in its own world, separated from what is happening outside, where paradoxically snow falls outside, not inside the globe. It is a small, enchanted world. And speaking of castles, a new Castlevania series has been released on Netflix. But even though I like the games and the quite successful previous Castlevania series from Netflix, I probably won't watch the new one because the creators went too woke. You can argue about various political issues, but if they are forced so that the author can, let's say, gently express his opinion, then for me it is a waste of time. If such creator wants to express their political views, let them create something of their own and not use well-known series to push their agenda. But no, we know why they don't do it. Because no one will watch it. It will be total garbage and not a successful series. It is completely unnecessary and destructive. I think Netflix will eventually learn because they are losing a lot of money on this, and series like One Piece are doing great because they haven't been damaged by wokeness yet. In this world, what people need most are wholesome topics like never before, because simple truths are being distorted. The wave of stupidity has already passed in the USA and they had enough, but it is only reaching Poland in full force. Hold on, keep your roots deep. Day 15. The prompt is dagger. What does a dagger remind me of? I associate it most with the characters who use it. That is, assassins and thieves. So I will draw a thief class elf on daggers under his pillow, feeling safe because of it. Hilarious. He's probably been through a lot and has to be ready for anything. It's a pity that the path he chose led to the fact that now the only thing he can rely on is his dagger. Sounds like some cool start to the game. I know a cool thief class from the game Octopath, a great JRPG game with a unique graphic style. Imagine if the Pokemon games were in this style, retaining some of the 2D elements, it would be fantastic. Although you can find a small Pokemon element in this game, right at the beginning of the game you choose your path and depending on which character you choose, you will have a plot. Without much thought I decided on Hanit. She's a girl from the village, checked. She likes animals and nature, checked. She uses caught animals to fight like Pokemon, checked. She speaks in dialect, like me because I'm from a region of Poland where Silesian is spoken, checked. It was a very good choice and the character is very similar to me, but Hanit is a hunter and I don't know if I would be able to kill any animal for meat. Well, someone has to slaughter animals. I guess you need some kind of mindset to do it without any problem. We live comfortably in this world and don't have to do such things. But if something changed, what would we do? Eating meat is important and you cannot cut people off from eating it. God allowed eating meat at one point in history, although you don't have to eat it if you don't want to. But many people do not benefit from not eating meat and they become weak and sick. I know at least 2 people who are vegan or vegetarian. I don't see the difference. And they look great, but despite this, they need to eat fish and eggs, and they say that they often would like to eat meat, but they cannot because after a long time the digestive system goes crazy with the smallest amount of meat and even fat from it. Somehow it happened that I end up talking about something out of track, like about topic of meat this time. I don't know how I do it, but I hope my talk wasn't boring. Day 16. The prompt is Angel and Demon. Today I have something a little different planned. Since the next prompt is Angel and the next is Demon, I decided to do a cheat day. It's understandable that the Inktober challenge is not strict in rules. It's about having fun with others and being creative. With these 2 prompts, Angel and Demon, I see that it was not chosen randomly by the organizers but on purpose. So let's play this game in a different way too. Even though it will be a cheat day, I have no intention of cutting myself any slack. I decided to choose A3 watercolor paper, that is twice an A4 sheet of paper, and decided to spend at least 2 hours on this drawing. Whatever is a regular Inktober drawing, I usually need 40 minutes, a maximum of 1 hour. So you see, it won't be a cheat day at all, just 2 drawings on 1 sheet of paper. For this idea, I choose something unusual. I guess a very little known story from the Bible, where Archangel Michael had a dispute with the devil over the body of Moses. The reason why this is mentioned in the New Testament is for a different purpose altogether, but I am curious about this mention because not much is written about it, and it probably doesn't really matter why the devil wanted the body of Moses, who died on the hill overlooking the promised land. However, we know for sure that the devil certainly failed to take over the body because Moses appears later on the Mount Tabor with Elijah, who, as we know, never physically died because he was taken by the Lord, like Enoch before the flood. So, knowing this verse from Jude chapter 1 verse 9, you should not disregard another person, even Satan. So I decided to draw Archangel Michael and the devil as humans with wings. I know that angels appeared in various stories in the Bible, and not always they show it themselves as human. Sometimes look totally abstract, sometimes they show it up human-like. In other Bible books you can find what they can actually look like. Very scary, but I like them. These descriptions of accurate angels are like bosses from games. So this will be a scene of Archangel Michael fighting with Satan over the body of Moses, which I have always wanted to draw, and I will definitely leave this drawing to paint it with watercolors. It was a difficult drawing, I knew it would be difficult to draw the faces of these characters, so I chose this oval nib because all the others seemed to be too risky. You actually have to scrub the paper with this nib, but it produces very thin lines, using little ink and making the lines almost transparent. Only now I noticed that in some places the lines were much lighter and not completely black. Can you tell which angel is who? Instead of use the well-known trope that the devil must have horns or something, I choose a pose. It would be nice to show the characters through their gesture. The devil is very dynamic and strongly gesticulates as if he was angry that he couldn't not take Moses' body. Archangel Michael, on the other hand, is strict and unyielding. He is completely serious and refuses to be convinced in any way, and I guess he ends up taking Moses' body with him. This prompt was a great opportunity to finally implement this idea. The result is quite good. I'm glad that I managed to capture the body proportion quite well, and it was worth it. Day 18. The prompt is saddle. What is saddle? At first, I didn't know what it means because I don't know the word. So, since again I'm learning a new word through Inktober. Actually, saddle and siodło in Polish are not that different, so I will definitely remember this new word. I thought that a horse saddle and a bicycle saddle have a very similar purpose and are intended to prevent your ass from hurting too much when sitting on bicycle or horse. So many approach to this drawing will not be that amazing. I bet someone in real life has already thought of something like this and made a bicycle saddle like this, because why not? It might look a bit unusual, but if were slightly adapted to the bike, it would certainly be quite practical and comfortable. This is of course fun, and if someone did something like that, it would only be to attract attention and make passers-by laugh. I drew myself, look how cocky am I because I have such saddle on my bike. And jealous? I choose G-pen for this drawing board. It was a bit a bad choice, but it doesn't matter, I just have to finish it with this pen. The lines have become a bit irregular, but I will try to improve it as much as possible with other pens. I don't have much to say this time about this prompt and things related to it. I didn't want to draw someone on a horse because I already have a drawing like that from Inktober on day 12 of Kebab Overload. You can always focus on something else, for example, make a politician satire and have the government ride a citizen and hit him from behind with a whip. You can draw it. I am selling you this idea because I don't want to do it. It's too hard for me to deal with the constant ridiculing the authorities will not change anything because people will laugh and do nothing. Everything will be as it was. Oh, I am going off topic again. Please pinch me. But I have to say more because I can't stand it. Hoes like to laugh at themselves, which means that they do not take themselves seriously and neither do foreign countries. The government we have results from the moral condition of our nation. How is the government, so are the citizens. Unfortunately, the truth is painful. I hope this makes sense. Individual behavior matters. I calmed down to this topic because we had elections in Poland and everyone is emotional about it, and the results are what the elections are. I'm not nervous about it or angry because I rely on someone else in my life, so I am not afraid of the future. Never mind. So thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye. Day 19. The prompt is plump. Again, I don't know the word. I checked it and I'm surprised because I didn't expect such meaning of it. So I see it means a person with excess fat. Unless there is something I don't know about. It's easy. I immediately found something suitable that I would like to draw. It reminded me of a character from Ren and Stimpy called Lomax. If I remember correctly, these characters were presented in one of the episodes like animals in the form of a documentary film. Lomax had a lot laced around, were very mentally limited, which is why they practically don't talk at all. They just growl and roar. In one episode, I don't know what it was called, two male Lomax were fighting over a female and it really looked like a documentary. I saw Ren and Stimpy a few years ago to remember the episodes, but again I forgot everything that was there because this show is total nonsense that turns off your brain. But I liked watch it as a kid. Yes, the cartoon doesn't seem to be suitable for children. There are some really disturbing things in it. After all, this is the work of John Kricfalusi and this guy is not entirely mental sound, so there is nothing to be surprised about. This series was on late at night, so when I couldn't sleep I watched it. Some episodes were good, some were very boring. I couldn't tell the difference as a kid, but Ren and Stimpy Adult Party was also on at that time. And that series is very spoiled. There were things like animal abuse and a lot of sexual undertones. I didn't notice it because children go through such things unnoticed because they are not that age yet. After all, it's called Adult Party. Although I think what I saw on TV back then was a toned down version, so as not to be too offensive. Despite this, I don't remember much about this adult series because, as I mentioned, Ren and Stimpy turns your brain off and you may watch this series again someday as if it were something completely new. The only episode I remember well is 1 Yard Too Far because let's just say it made the most sense. The characters had a goal and spent the entire episode trying to achieve it, and that was to eat a plate full of pig face. And if I remember correctly, they succeed or not? It seemed to me to be one of the best and funniest episodes. However, I like this show because of the drawing style. Generally, I like the dynamic lines draw with confidence. It adds such professionalism and you can see if such a drawing is good. The artist has a lot of experience in drawing. But I have talked enough about Ren and Stimpy. Day 20. The prompt is frost. I don't want to do something boring and obvious. I don't really know what to do with the word frost. If I start drawing, I always look for something in the idea for a drawing that gives me the desire and inspiration. It can't just be a drawing of something. There has to be something behind this idea that makes me want to draw. I think this is one of the reasons why people who do art don't get tired of it, because they want to convey something and show how they felt when they were creating it. Many people start drawing but then don't know what to do next. Drawing pretty animal girls' portraits gets boring someday because some people stop there and don't go further. Today I invented an idea for the word frost, which literally comes out of the refrigerator and makes it impossible to close the fridge until you defrost the fridge. Do you recognize this gimmick of the character? That's it from Tom meme. It looks like the frost got out insidiously and caused the problem out of malice. People wonder how it is that someone always has ideas and is not bored with what they do. And I am surprised at people who want something in life but don't do it or expect quick results. I think that to achieve something in your profession or ordinary hobby is to have a goal and the way by achieving this goal. It is not the goal that is most important, but also the entire process and the path to it. It often happens that people abandon their goals because the path is too long. They are only interested in the end of the goal. But it's not like that. The path is as important as the goal itself, because without it, there would be no story you could share with others. For this reason, I like how Jesus instructs us to follow him. I am saved by him, and if I die, I will be with the Lord. But he has given me certain things to do. He has prepared the way for me and the deeds that I have to do, and sometimes it is difficult, but the Lord gives me the will and strength that does not result from my efforts. There is a verse, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This is what happens to the people of faith. I hope I have given you some encouragement and a new perspective on the God path worth trying. Hello everyone, Wonder Tina here. Day 21, the prompt is chains. Whenever I try to draw something, I look for something that is around me. This is my starting point. You need this because everything we know and the ideas we come up with, we have seen it before, and all we can do with it is transform it into something else. For example, today I will make a chinchilla in chains. No, not really. It's a bit like playing with words, chinchilla and chains, chin and chin. The only chains I have at home are the one from the bicycle, and the other one is the one that holds the chinchilla hammock. So this will be a rather nice drawing today. I hope you like it. I have never been able to get a nice chinchilla hammock anywhere. The only things in stores are simple hammocks for rats and minks, and they usually have strings that will not survive even one night in chinchilla cage. After all, they are rodents, and rodents do what rodents do. So they bite everything. I know that you can order a hammock from someone who sells such things, because I see no other option but to do it this way. Once I simply took and ordered a chain, which turned out to be too thick, so I asked my father to cut the chain into 4 parts, and I still have such hammock till this day. I attach it with safety pins and it works. The suspension is safe from chinchillas now. Oh, unfortunately we have a problem. Unexpectedly a drop of ink fell almost centrally on Chinchilla's forehead, which is supposed to be White Madness, the white chinchilla. While drawing I was wondering what to do with this defect, but you will see later. So I was wondering if I should just cover the stain with white ink later, but I think that this will not be a very aesthetic solution because if I later want to make this drawing with watercolors, something may cause this place to be visible. But I look at this drop, which is perfectly round and it actually fell in quite a paradoxically not the worst place. So I turned this stain into a black ribbon and guess what? This wasn't such a bad idea after all. I quite like it. Sometimes you have to be able to take advantage of your mistakes if possible. So I come up with a nice drawing today. However, I had to stop and finish it the next day so you can see in the video that the lights change. So thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye. Day 22. The prompt is scratchy. If I understand correctly, scratchy refers to a type of texture that is rough. I thought, what is rough to the touch? It makes you itch just looking at it. I come from the countryside and as it happens on farms, everyone helps and does something. It doesn't matter, children too, it's completely normal. One of the jobs I really didn't like was shoveling grain. It wasn't incredibly hard, just boring and long-lasting. The job involved sitting on a trail that was tilted to make it easier to pour grain into a hole which then fell into a blower which then teleported the grain up to where it was stored. The wheat wasn't bad, even very nice to the touch, but barley was the worst. Barley is rough to the touch and makes everything itchy. Not only are you sitting in the hot sun, which is exhausting at noon, but everything is itchy because of the barley. There are also small insects running everywhere, which if the crop was freshly harvested, it is full of bugs that escape from the hole, sucking everything around. Somehow they always like to run towards me, which I didn't really like. Then when the grain was poured out, all the clothes had to be washed because if they were worn a second time, they would cause itching. Of course, taking a shower immediately after work brought relief. So, this is the story for this drawing today, but it's something that came to my mind first. You know how there are these various pictures with the caption, "You can hear this picture?" Yes, in my case, when I see barley, everything itches. Of course, I'm joking. I think there is no need to add anything more. It was a quick drawing. These dots took me the most time. They seem to be the easiest of the entire artwork, but most time consuming. Day 23. The prompt is celestial. I have heard word celestial before, but the meaning is different than I thought and refers to something else. I don't know exactly what this word refers to and in what situation it is used. According to the definition, this word refers to spheres of heavenly bodies and cosmic matters. I have never heard anyone say, "My celestial Father," only "My heavenly Father," because in the Bible the definition of heaven, which defines where God lives, is different from the definition of heaven which we see above us, often referred to as heavenly circles, heavenly dome. The Bible says about several heavens. For example, John was caught up to the third heaven, which is where God lives. So I would classify the word celestial as material term for something that is above us. But I might wrong. So I don't want to do something stupid with this word. I will just reach where I encounter this word and use it. I definitely remember my first encounter with this word in the game Okami and Final Fantasy X, where you could get celestial weapons. So you can already guess which direction I am going. I choose to draw Titus finally getting the celestial sword with which he will finally be able to face his daddy issues. Celestial weapons in Final Fantasy X are the best, and I managed to get a few for my team, but the rest were too annoying to get, so I tried to get the easiest ones. The final boss is tough in Final Fantasy X, so you need to be well prepared. For this drawing I choose I call it detail pen because I don't want to screw up his face, that would be a shame. Plus, then you have to be careful with his outfit because it's very detailed and cool. I also like the biblical reference in Final Fantasy games. There is a reference to the Tower of Babel, to Abel and Cain, and in my opinion to the Millennium Kingdom that will come after the so-called end of the world. So the Bible doesn't say anything about the end of the world, that there will be an end to everything and boom, right after this event there is only heaven and new earth. No, after Armageddon comes the 1,000-year kingdom of Jesus, which is transitional period. You can call it a new aeon in the history of the world where people still live on earth. The difference is that there is no Satan and Christ and his saints rule over the world. Only at the end of this period will there be another battle because people will again follow Satan, who has been imprisoned for 1,000 years and who immediately after being released deceives all people. You will understand this only if you belong to the Lord, because He reveals these things only to His servants. Everything is in Bible. So I see some similarities in Final Fantasy X where sin shows up, destroys everything, but after you defeat him, life goes on. So I see a lot of biblical inspiration in Final Fantasy games, not necessarily accurate, but that doesn't matter. You won't know what I mean if you haven't played these games anyway. This might just be my association, not necessarily related to reality, but who knows what the creators took as inspiration. However, I don't see such similarities in any other games except the Final Fantasy games series. I hope my theory wasn't too bombastic. Day 24. The prompt is shallow. We have one proverb in Polish related to the spoon. There is a proverb, want to someone drown in a spoon, and another one, not related, but it's about someone that is as shallow as pond water. So I will combine these two proverbs for today's prompt. I choose something not serious this time. I'm usually very casual and I like to joke a lot, but I can be very serious and shoot the truth because I am very honest. This is a typical feature of autistic minds, being painfully honest. I also surround myself with people who are like that too. I like the truth and I don't see any point in lying. It will come out anyway and do a lot of damage along the way, and the lie will leave you with shame. The consequences can still linger even after the truth comes to the light. Who needs this? So let's do something nonsensical today. I always do some deep talking in these videos. Maybe I will finally relax, But I like to be philosophical and keep my mind busy. I draw something that I can't explain. It's a spoon that's shallow and there's a dog sitting in it that would like to take a bath in it. Maybe the child who eats cereal for breakfast fished out a surprise toy. This theory holds, so let it stay that way. When I made this drawing, I was very tired in the evening, so I didn't think much about this idea. So far it's going well, and I will probably be able to do all Inktober videos. It was a very interesting experience with YouTube. I'm not yet at the stage to assess what's really going on with my statistics, but sometimes I observe quite strange behavior of the results. But maybe I will talk about it when I finish this project. I was just curious what would happen if you add videos regularly, almost every day. But overall, I would like to thank everyone who stays on this channel and watch it every day. Is there anyone among you who has seen all my Inktober videos so far? I never ask for sub because I don't see any point in subscriptions. When I see channels that have 200,000 subscribers and then only 1,000 views under a video, the sub doesn't matter if you don't provide fuel in the form of new videos regularly. I know it's more complex than that, but anyway. So if you want to sub me, only if you seriously want to watch my videos. A lot of people come to me from DeviantArt where I promote the channel in some way, so thanks for your kindness. I will end now the video, so see you tomorrow, bye. Day 25. The prompt is dangerous. I took on the subject of danger an object that seems particularly nasty to me. The worst danger, in my opinion, is the taking over of your mind, your property, your freedom. The cult of Jehovah's Witnesses seems to be especially dangerous to me, where the robbery of these things that I mentioned is clearly visible. Thanks to such organization, you can really lose everything, money and valuable relationships. The special feature of this organization is that there is always a guru. They have their own literature, which is obligatory, and of course you have to be a member and pay dues. These are red flags of such groups. Personally, I have never been a Jehovah's Witness, but I have had contact with them, because you probably know that they go door to door, and I think I am the only person who opens door for them in this building where I live. I like to talk to them, I really do, and putting them in panic mode. I know the Bible quite well, so I'm not afraid. Jehovah's Witnesses, on the other hand, learn only through patterns and usually do not even know what some issues in Bible are about. And this is common among Catholics and also among Protestants, because you have to read entire chapters and letters to understand the thought contained in the text. Didn't we have that at school? There is a very famous verse that everyone in Poland repeats, which has a distorted meaning. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This sounds to us as if the mere knowledge of the truth sets someone free, which is completely untrue, and this is a verse taken out of context, and when you read you should see this. To the Jews who had believed in him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." What Jesus said means that only if you are his disciple will you know the truth and it will set you free. You see, you need to see the whole context. So the last time witnesses visited me, they started saying that there will be Armageddon and that it was something very terrible. I agreed, Jesus is coming, and they told me other things there. I knew where this was going, that I had to belong to the organization because Armageddon. But then I asked if they were newborns. They didn't want to answer, but I pressed them and quote a verse where Jesus says that no one will enter the kingdom of God unless they are born again. Of course, a quick change of topic, but I noticed that this one woman was scared, and I hope that it made her think a lot. Jehovah's Witnesses are obsessed about to get to the kingdom of God and are very scared that they don't make it. One thing that Jesus expects from you is to believe in him, and that's all you have to do, and don't be scared. If you are a newborn, then you go to heaven. Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in Jesus, that he is God, and that's their problem. Maybe I was too decisive and they stopped coming to me, which is a pity. I miss them. Day 26. The prompt is removed. This time, as usual, I don't have to go outside my apartment to look for an idea, so it will be a how to remove video. I wanted to have my own mint bush at home, which would give me fresh leaves for tea, and my friend told me that she had such a bush from her garden. It was a plant that lived outside all the time, and I know that when I move it to a pot, it would need time to acclimate to a different environment. So cool, I now have my own mint plant in a pot. But after some time I noticed that my plant had a problem. The mint began to have black spots on the leaves, then eventually the leaves withered and the plant looked worse and worse. I thought that maybe changing the location had harmed it. Maybe I wasn't watering it enough. But no, I finally took a close look at it, and even though I had seen it on the leaves before, I wouldn't have thought it was aphids. Now after some time, it was a whole colony that was destroying my plant while staying warm and happy in my apartment. And I didn't want to let the plant suffer complete destruction, so I decided to save this mint. I declare war on you. You hear me? I don't care that you are cute. I asked what I could do with aphids to get rid of them, and I was advised to use a mixture of garlic, baking soda and soap. And it worked, but I killed the entire plant and I thought that was it. But no, the mint has sprouted new stems from the roots. But the enemy did not give up and new young aphids began to appear. So I tried another mixture, but with water, vinegar and dish soap. Of course, I need the right proportions or I will destroy the plant again. And this mixture works the best because it does not destroy the plant but kills the aphids. However, you still need to spray the plant with the mixture every day because aphids turn out to be extremely nasty creatures that don't give up so easily. Well, neither do I. Okay, that was the story for today. A very interesting activity for me because it concerned the behavior of insects and trying something completely new. Unfortunately, the video was cut off because lately the camera likes to turn itself off randomly, but that's okay because the video is good enough. Day 27. The prompt is bees. I have a rather interesting story about a dog that lived on our farm who was a real hound dog, and I will call him that too because he had a really stupid name and I don't feel like saying it here. I don't even know why someone called him that, but it doesn't matter. Even in appearance it was very similar to hound dog. It was a large black dog that was a danger to any stranger, but not to its owner. It was a mutt, a mix of Doberman and a German Shepherd, I think. This is probably a recipe for an inbred psycho dog. This dog is gone, but I don't really miss him because he was very dangerous and unpredictable. I will draw one situation with this beast. Tell me, what do you think about this behavior? What does it mean when a dog growls and wags his tail at the same time? For me, this is very contradictory behavior and unclear. Does he like being petted? Or maybe doesn't like me? Does he like me but doesn't trust me? Sometimes I come back in the evening when it was already late and I heard growling from the dog. To get out of this situation alive, you must enter the password, which is his name, so that you can proceed. There were many other stories with even more weird results. For example, when a stranger came on the farm to work, all he was done is just parked his car near the dog, and you know what? Even though the car was empty and parked peacefully, this dog barked at the car all day long, experiencing a total meltdown. But he could also attack people, resulting in bloody wounds. The dog wasn't not euthanized because in all cases he was provoked by someone who was irritated by the dog's barking. Once a thoughtless kid annoyed him so much that the dog seriously injured this kid and had to go to the hospital. The dog was on chain, by the way. The kid had himself to blame, so it wasn't the dog's fault. You see that the dog is very angry and big and you still mess with it. It's suicide. Then there were situations when someone sneaked onto the property at night, entered without knowing that the dog was at large. Surprisingly, nothing happened because the dog chased them away, maybe tore a few sleeves and jackets, and that's all. Oh, most importantly, he really didn't like sharing his owner's love and attention with other dogs. He would probably kill you for petting a dog other than him. There were two dogs on the farm, Hound Doom and Casper. These dogs were not friends with each other. Casper usually was attacked by him when he was nerdy, but fortunately Casper could jump over fences, so that saved him. Hound Doom had something sadistic about him. I remember how he abused the chickens. I tried to save them, but once they were in his mouth, it was too late. Okay, enough of that. That was quite a rich memory of that hell dog. Only my dad liked him, and I don't think anyone else. Overall, he did his job well as a dog, but I think sometimes he was well overzealous in what he was doing. Day 28. The prompt is Sparkle. I decided to do something very simple today, but definitely cute enough for me. Sometimes it seems to me that I am too fast and my work suffers in quality. However, I have to balance my regular work with my personal projects. Sometimes it happens that I no longer have time for personal projects because maintaining my existence wins and I don't want regular work to lose its quality. Inktober will end soon, but I count it as a personal project for my own satisfaction and to draw certain conclusions. But I will talk about it in the summary video next time because in such experiments you can always find something new that can improve work on projects in future. Inktober challenge seems perfect for this. So I couldn't resist to draw a chinchilla with sparkle in her eyes. They react very widely to this delicacy. This is the root of the dandelion. We know it as spring flower which appears in meadows and roadsides in millions of quantities. You can dig up such a root yourself, clean it and give it to your chinchillas or other rodents. They are crazy about this delicacy. If they could, they would only eat that, but that is not allowed. I like it when they stick out their paws to reach for a treat. I do not lie. See yourself. But that's it. This drawing took me maybe half an hour, which is a good pace. It seems that thanks to Inktober I got back into shape when drawing with ink. Day 29. The prompt is massive. I didn't know what to do with that word right away. However, it often helps me to look at pictures on the internet about a certain topic. For example, there is a news story about a guy who caught a massive carp. This is cool, so I am taking this idea. But I won't just draw a carp. Let it be blobfish, but a massive blobfish, because why not? This fisherman in the picture has always dreamed of catching the world's largest blobfish, and that night, as he waited patiently without blinking an eye, he finally succeeded. See how this man is bursting with joy. This illustration looks as if the fisherman was posing for a photo with this fish. Well done, tomorrow he will be in all the newspapers. By the way, when it comes to blobfish, it looks completely different in the water than when it is caught. I would never have guessed that this creature is the same as in the photos outside the water. This is an ordinary fish similar to those that live in the depths of the sea where there is no light. It turns out that these fish become so ugly because fishermen pull them out of the depths too quickly. Then due to the change of pressure, their skin stretches and the fish loses it. In addition, this fish does not have a skeleton, which means that when outside water, it looks like jelly. This is more or less what it looks like if I understand everything correctly. It seems that this fish is not ugly, but becomes so when it is suddenly pulled out of water. I think this thing must be suffering from being in this state, or in the photos we see this creature is actually long dead. Okay, that's it. This prompt made me look for interesting facts about this fish, and I learned some amazing things. Day 30. The prompt is rush. Rush has many meanings. It could be a rush on your back or band called rush. I remember something else called Big Time Rush. What was that? Also a band? Never mind. But I choose something poetic like the rush of time. It would be a combination of the word rush and the saying the rush of time. Let it be literally a running clock hand that will have an unusual mechanical appearance. I would like to see something like this for real. I think that a skilled watchmaker could do something like this, and this watch tip would actually move like a running figure. I saw an 18th century computer. Yes, some say it can be considered as the first computer in the form of the writer character, so-called automaton, which writes letters. Everything was mechanized, and how it worked that a character could write everything, I don't know. When I started this Inktober project along with video editing, I thought that I would be burdened with all this extra work, but that's not the case at all. I got used to it and developed a pattern of action that required time management. It actually looked overwhelming at the beginning, and I decided to make many videos in advance, but at some point I stopped and had to catch up every day again. But once I know the course of action and the amount of time spent, I am no longer in rush. It becomes a habit. However, humans can adapt to various situations on their own. Maybe one day I will make my own challenge with selected words related to a topic I'm interested in. It really never hurts to have too much to do, but it sure hurts to have nothing to do and time flies away. If you don't work, you stagnate and your mental health suffers. I know others, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Not that I manage my time perfectly, but I wish I could. It would be great and fruitful, not only for me. Oh, it's a stain again. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm in rush. Day 31. The prompt is fire. So how do we end this challenge? I'm sure everyone will like a pet in need. We know the story from Pokemon where Charmander almost died because his owner abandoned him, but let it be the scene from the moment when he was sitting there under a leaf during a storm. All in all, Pokemon is animal abuse in itself. Make up your own mind. For example, One Piece, they are pirates. Pirates are attacking murderers and thieves. Naruto, trained assassins who work on order to kill someone. Dragon Ball is about a guy who is obsessed with fighting, who neglects his family because fighting is more important, and he often causes dangerous situations for his own satisfaction. There is something about, oh, we are villains, but we are good villains. But maybe I am exaggerating because children like to play pirates and ninjas. That's why such content sells. Although, in fact, in the game mechanics there is such a thing as releasing Pokemon into the wild when you no longer need them. I have never done it myself, but is it safe to keep them in digital form infinitely? So I find a lot of moral issues here in these titles. Choose wisely, everything has consequences. I like how this leaf turned out. My goal was to make these lines thinner as they approach the center of this illustration where the flame is. This means that even though everything around looks really bad and unfavorable, the center of the flame makes the illustration cozy. Charmander still has hope and the flame is source of that hope. Charmander, hold on, you will be saved soon. But that's it. I managed to make a recording for every video. I managed to edit every video. Oh, and I drew every prompt. Plus, I published every day in at least 3 places on my social media. The result is quite satisfactory for me. I mean, I didn't expect any great results because the internet is full of everything and it's a real rat race to achieve more. But I already have plans. I won't talk about it here. I will just make a summary video and that's it. So thanks for watching. See you in the next more colorful video. Bye.